Man, what a crazy world we're in, right? You guys were talking as you were all coming in about the thunderstorms you had last night. We've got of course, the pandemic, the coronavirus, the mask issues, the fires, incredible fires. We've got so many things up in the world that are just unusual, right? Just unusual and um, I don't know, crazy. Can we say crazy? I mean, they're just crazy. And you wonder, what is this world coming to? So when David asked me to throw out some talk ideas, I thought, oh, I know what I'm talking about. So my theme is healing and wholeness, and my questions to you, and I don't know if you've seen those, maybe in a blurb somewhere or maybe not, but given what the world looks like, given what we're experiencing in the world, and certainly in the world, and certainly in our country, and I don't know about you personally in this now moment, but there's a lot of stuff. What if there was nothing wrong? Now, if I was in your space, I would be coaching you to go, wait, what? That's my favorite line when I'm talking to people or teaching people or whatever. Wait, what? So all together now, wait, what? And that to me is an indicator that our minds are going to grapple a little bit. But what if there's nothing wrong? And what if you're not broken? Wait, what? And what if there's absolutely nothing to be fixed? What if you were enough just exactly as you are right here, this moment, this very moment in time, and nothing needs to change? What would happen then? Well, the thing is, everything would change, really. Everything would be different. Everything will be different. Everything is different when we come into alignment with that which we call wholeness, which is a basic unity and spiritual truth. So, what is the idea of healing? The idea of healing is simply the restoring to original purity, restoring to original integrity, restoring to wholeness. So I looked up, being the good unity person as I am, in the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore's book, The Revealing Word for Wholeness. It says the perfect unification and expression of man, meaning man, woman, child, girl, boy, transgender, humanity, human, right? As spirit, soul, and body. True healing means to make whole, and that is brought about by his concept of regeneration, or the spiritual principle of regeneration. But the perfect unification and expression, the perfect unification and expression of our own being, excuse me, we call it body, mind, heart, soul, spirit system, right? Body, mind, heart, soul, spirit system. When we come into unification, or modern day language, when we come into vibrational alignment, or when we come into coherence with ourselves, our body, our mind, our heart, our soul, our spirit, our system, the whole system, then we discover wholeness. And when we discover wholeness, we also discover oneness. So in your statement, there's only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the Good. There's only one. So why do we see duality? We see duality because we are a species, a culture, a humanity of separation, which means that we live and believe and experience life on the planet as separated from. Now, there's nothing wrong about that, but we are in an evolution of consciousness for millennia. Long time we've lived in separation. But I really believe in my heart and soul and in the cells of my being, it's like this whole time, this 2020, it's like this is why I'm on the planet, to be the bridge to help people find the doorway from the experience of separation into the experience of oneness. Because in separation, we have the experiences we have. We have lack, we have limitation, we have right and wrong and good and bad. We have polarization. We have all the issues that we face, all the issues that are coming up in the world right now. What if they're not coming up because we're all a mess, but they're coming up because we are in that awakening process, that we are in the evolution of consciousness in a way that we are about to make that quantum leap. You think about the classic story, right, of the caterpillar, the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, and what happens in the cocoon, right? We go into our cocoons. Think pandemic here, like think really broad, and think like really personal at the same time. We're caterpillars. We're living in the world. The world's not working. There's so much in the world that looks like it's not working. And so we create this caterpillar experience. The caterpillar experience started for us on the whole globe as coronavirus. And then pretty soon we're building cocoons, right? We get stay-at-home orders, we get isolation orders, we get quarantine orders, and we're building this cocoon. Next thing we know, in the cocoon, we have to put on a mask. We have to cover our voice. We have to cover our half of our face. And I believe that this is all part of really a divine plan. Now, I'm not saying that, God sent coronavirus to make a mess of humanity. What I am saying is humanity, especially new thought people, are ready to lead humanity into this quantum leap of wholeness, of oneness. And that quantum leap has been talked about for many years. Barbara Marx Hubbard, who was a big key person in conscious evolution, talked about moving from the separated human to a universal human. Jesus Christ talked about the second coming. Well, I don't suppose Jesus Christ talked about the second coming, but New Testament Paul did for sure. Jesus said the experience of the kingdom of heaven is right here. It's right here. And if you read between the lines, so to speak, between the words, Jesus was talking about oneness. He was using the words love, but he was really talking about oneness. So when we're looking in the world, and I will say, I've got, I was telling David a little bit, I'm traveling this week because my dad is old, and he's experiencing the things in his life that come with towards the end of the life. His body's starting to shut down. He's got some breathing and, the whole 9 years. So my dad is old and my mom is stressed. And I said, I'm going to go for a few days. I've got a bunch of things to do. I can work easily. I actually live across the street from them in Phoenix, and I also live in Arkansas. And I forgot my computer bag. Actually, well, we'll just say I forgot my computer bag. There's a whole story there, but we won't go into that because we believe that there's nothing wrong, right? But if I knew that there was things that could be wrong or things that could be broken or I could be less than whole, that would have been a great story. Because I got to the airport, which is over an hour from my house, and my suitcase was in the car, but my bag wasn't. So anyway, there's a whole story there. So I've got that, I've got this, I've got that, I've got my parents, I've got this, I've got that. And it would be easy, really easy, to think that something's wrong, right? To look at my dad and think that there's something wrong or think that his body is broken. But I've been doing these practices. I've been working my own awakening for 25, 30 years. I've been in the process of leading people from separation to wholeness for a long enough amount of time that I can catch myself, right? And I could go, what would it take to find wholeness here? What would it take to know that there's nothing wrong and there's nothing broken and nothing needs to be fixed? And the thing it would take is acceptance. Feel that. Feel that. Feel the thing that's going on in your world right now that you're in resistance to. People are having health, they're having loved ones die, they're having financial, I heard somebody say there's got no air conditioning. That's a big issue. I would be struggling with that one personally, right? But whatever it is that's going on in your world right now, and feel how you feel about it. Because normally we feel contracted about it. We feel resistant to it. We feel we want it to go away. So we have this resistance. But what we find, if we can turn from resistance, if we can pivot from looking at that thing that's wrong, right? We go tunnel vision. If we can pivot from tunnel vision to what's wrong into a place of what if there's a miraculous outcome? What if I can experience oneness? What would oneness bring? And one way to pivot is the practice of acceptance. And so I'm practicing acceptance. The last time my dad was in the hospital, he was in the hospital for 11 days. He's been home almost a week now. And of course, in coronavirus and COVID-19 times, you can't see him, you can't get a hold of the doctors, you can't get a hold of the nurses, and there's all those things. My sister happened to be here with them at that moment in time, and they were not in acceptance, right? So I thought, what can I give? What gift can I bring to the system? So I started bringing this acceptance, like, right? This anchoring down into the truth of your being and then expanding out to a greater truth. So I bring acceptance into the system, and you know what happens? The system softens. The resistance softens. The high levels of stress begin to decrease. Now, I'm not going to say that, my level of acceptance changes the whole system, but it does impact it. And you all know that. You all know that who we be makes a difference in the world. So what we think about informs how we feel, which informs our vibration, which then informs our actions, which informs our results or creates our results. So the short version is what we think about, is what we feel, is what we see in the world. And if all we can see is separation or less than or unworthiness or broken or something wrong, and believe me, I know there are lots of wrong things to see in the world, lots of ways to see the world where it looks like it's wrong or broken. But if you can shift your vibrational frequency, you can begin to see differently. And once you see differently and you're in alignment with that vibrational frequency of oneness, of wholeness, everything looks different. Now, we all know that if we're trying to change our thought or a feeling at the level of the thought or the feeling, it is near impossible, right? We've all had the experience of a pain, physical pain, or a disease, or something, a financial thing, and we start using our affirmations and we go, I'm prosperous, I feel so poor. I'm prosperous, I feel so poor. I'm prosperous, I feel so poor. And you're trying to change the thought at the level of the thought or the feeling. You say I'm prosperous and immediately comes I'm so poor. What's your feeling? It's going to be related to lack and limitation. But if you can come in, don't worry about the thoughts so much, even the feeling, which is the emotion, and come into vibrational alignment. Raise your vibration. Lift your vibration out of the realm of separation or material world or physicality. Line up and raise your vibration. Myrtle Fillmore used to say, lift up your eyes into the Christ vibration. She didn't say vibration too often. Lift up your eyes into the Christ consciousness. Lift up into the Christ consciousness. So I'm giving you steps here. Hopefully you're tracking. So notice that you're in tunnel vision. I don't like what I see, right? And you can list out all the reasons why, but you don't have to. Just simply, I don't like what I see. Notice what you notice. Oops, I'm doing a little contact thing. I was flipping my eyes too fast. Notice what you notice. Stop it. Pivot. What would oneness feel like? Come in, you have all your tools, right? Do your centering, do your meditation, come into that place of oneness, of wholeness, and lift your vibration. Lift your vibration to that Christ consciousness. Lift your vibration to wholeness. And imagine, what would wholeness feel like? What would wholeness feel like? What would oneness feel like? and let your body kind of go, your body will go, and it'll land into this place. And it'll be like, right there, right there. And then from there, memorize that feeling of wholeness, that feeling of oneness. And that then will inform what you see, the emotions you have, and the thoughts that you have about it. Charles Fillmore says, in Teach Us to Pray, we must know spiritual harmony. And therein is the source of a great secret. He goes on to say, geniuses say that they first hear the music within them before it's given outer form. And I love that because we can feel that feeling of oneness, that feeling of wholeness within our beings. We can line up, we can come into coherence and vibrational alignment with that feeling of wholeness and oneness long before the evidence catches up. Because you will see what you believe. You will see in the outer world what you're vibrating at. And every time you practice raising your vibration, every time you practice coming into the possibility and then the reality of wholeness, regardless, irrespective of what the situation and circumstance is, you begin to see it different. So with my dad, I see his wholeness. I didn't even have to work at it. I began to see his wholeness recently, really, quite frankly, recently in the last few weeks. And I look at him now and I don't see an old man who's getting frailer by the day, who can't breathe, who's having kidney and heart, his kidneys and heart. I don't see that. I see, wow, job well done, life well lived. I have such acceptance for where he is now. Now, as a daughter, as a human being, I'm going to have likely will have my human emotion around that. But when I look at him and I see him as wholeness, that there's nothing wrong with him, that is a practice that I'm practicing. And every time I practice it in the outer, I'm informing it and fine-tuning it in the inner. I'm bringing it into my own experience. And every time I come back into my own feeling of wholeness and oneness, I'm building those neural pathways. We're actually changing our neurology. And once we change our neurology, we're changing our physicality. So in wholeness, you may or may not have physical pain. You may or may not like really what you see, but the resistance to it can drop as you open to acceptance. And when you open to acceptance, you actually begin to transcend all the evidence. And you begin to see the world differently. When I look at the world right now, I can choose which channel I look at. I can turn my channel on and go look at all the things and this and this and this and this and this. I can watch the numbers, I can watch the news, I can pay attention to what's going on in the outer, or I can turn my radio dial or my television dial or my internet dial from what the news stations are flashing to a greater truth. And when I turn to a greater truth, I see a different world. I see a world awakening. I see a world that truly works for all people. I see a world where love and kindness and compassion are the foundational states of being. And in that place, I see a world that becomes very innovative, very creative. I see a world of utmost beauty. I see a world where there's this cross-culture connection happening, where the quail and the hedgehog are in relationship, where the dog and the cat, where the dog and the horse, where there's animals that are showing up almost to pave the way for humanity's awakening. That there is a cross culture in what we're seeing in nature. that is new and fresh and exciting and expansive, that when we land into this possibility of wholeness, everything changes. Everything changes. And so I wanted to lead us through a meditation, but really a process so that you can have the experience of landing in this wholeness and noticing how it feels. So will you join me in a few moments of meditation and actually process? All right, take a breath. Close your eyes, close your outer eyes, and feel your whole body, mind, heart, soul, spirit system landing, dropping into your body and into your being. And we begin to notice where our awareness is. So we notice that our awareness is in our mind. As you've been listening to me, hopefully you're thinking and grappling with what I'm saying. We drop beneath the mind down into the body. We drop beneath the body into the being. And we connect into that still place deep in the center of your being. It's the heart, the physical heart, but deeper than the physical heart lies a spiritual heart. So just drop there, land there. Even if you don't know what it is, just whew. And if your mind is still kicked in or your emotions are running, just every time I say just land or drop, just pivot your awareness from the outer to the inner. Boom, boom, boom. Whew. And when we land in this place, the place of the spiritual heart, we open to oneness. We pivot from separation to oneness. And when we land in oneness, we can quantum leap from oneness to allness. So imagine it like this. Turn to one side, there's separation, pivot center, oneness. Once you land in oneness, feel a leap, feel a lifting, 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 landing in this place of allness. And in this place of allness, find what wholeness might feel like. Feel your connection to all that is. Feel that expansive space. Feel the expansion. Feel the spaciousness. Feel the energy of wholeness washing through you like a warm liquid, being poured right into your crown, pouring down through your body, through your torso, through your limbs, working its way all the way down into the very cells of your being, where the vibration of wholeness permeates and penetrates and fills the very inner spaces of your being. Ah. And in that wholeness, you find oneness. And in that oneness, you find peace and ease and grace. And in that spot, your heart almost explodes with this rich, unconditional, beautiful, new experience of love. Ah, let your body relax, let your heart burst open. And then we just turn that up and we turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. We lift it, just this vibrational frequency of wholeness, of oneness, and we lift it up and we lift it up, we lift it up, and we gift it to the universe, just gift it to the world. And as we gift wholeness, we feel it circling right back around, in and through the quantum, in and through the ethers, coming right back around and raining down on you and all people everywhere. Sparkles and glitters and glistens of wholeness as it enters your being, just open to receive it in you. Let it fill your being, let it fill your presence, let it fill you. You are vibrationally aligned with wholeness. Take a moment and bask. Take a moment and memorize. As we memorize the vibrational frequency, as we bask in the vibrational frequency of wholeness, we're building new neural pathways. We're giving a new access point. What if this moment of wholeness changes everything in your world? What if this moment of wholeness opens you to miraculous outcomes in your body, in your life, in your world? What if this is our work to awaken humanity to the truth of oneness and wholeness? Put your hand on your heart. Notice what you notice, feel what you feel. Feel the vibration, the frequency. Notice anything about it. And say, I choose oneness. I awaken to wholeness. I am whole. Take a deep breath in. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen and amen.